Hey guys, it's Summon Rush. Today we're going to be taking a look at the highest damage game that's been played on WOT replays in the current patch 1.0 point whatever the hell it is. This is Kiko Nilo. He's in his TVP and he's on the map Fisherman's Bay. And I thought I'd give you some insight on how he does this and how he gets the highest damage game on WOT replays, and hopefully I can, give you some advice to see how you can replicate that. So the first thing that Kiko Nilo does is he doesn't really, I don't know if he did this on purpose out of looking at the enemy team lineup, but basically what he does is he looks for shots in the heavies who cross into the city. Now this position would not really be reasonable if the enemy didn't have any heavies, but you can see they've got a VK, a Samua, a Low, a KV4, the 705A, and so on, and that's why this play sort of works out. He's able to come to a position and shoot enemies as they're driving into position, and then if you were to try to replicate that sort of process, it's like, well, the enemy has a ton of heavies. You can expect some of them to go to the city, especially if you use XCM. Now, more heavies often come to the middle now lately because they've realized that the city's a death trap. What happens is this Low is really aggressive. He's able to pen an entire clip into that Low right there, and you're going to notice he did that without getting spotted. So he's going to basically repeat that play multiple times, and hopefully that should give us some insight on how to play these damn bushes here, because personally I've always had trouble with them. I find that the bushes in this location tend to be really fake, and the amount of patience that they require is just unreal. So this play is actually really useful to watch. Now, you can see there's the pattern. What he does first is he backs up so that the bushes are solid. He's able to set the pattern on fire. His third shot, his last shot in the clip, goes into the guy's engine because the M48 pattern just recently lost his fire extinguisher. So that was Kiko Nilo trying to get a second fire on that M48 pattern. What he does is he gets lit, he gets safe. I don't know why he only got lit on his last shell, but that's just the way it was. So he got safe, and then once he's reloaded, he's able to, well, there's a VK who's decided that it's a good idea to cross an open field in front of a TVP who's already been spotted. So that's the play that he tries to make. Kiko Nilo is able to put an entire clip out into that guy, and this is sort of what Kiko Nilo does to abuse this type of location. Now, he gets spotted here. That's predictable because the WZ moved up, and you could have seen that on the map. And generally, you should be watching your map as you're reloading in an autoloader. What's going to happen is he's going to have to kill the WZ-132 over here if he wants to continue to abuse the position that he's been in, and, it's certainly been working out for him. So what he's going to do is he's going to line up a position. That's the first ammo rack in this game, by the way. Hint, there's going to be a few more. He lines up this position because he wants to shoot at the WZ as he runs away. You can see the WZ runs away badly. Kiko Nilo low rolls his first shot. He's able to get the second, and now the enemy scouts are dead. So I'll be honest, Kiko Nilo is getting lucky. The fact that he hasn't been clicked yet, why hasn't he been RD'd? I don't know, but that's just the way it is. You can't criticize someone for getting lucky, in my opinion. So he didn't get clicked, which is great. Because the scout is dead, he's able to return to his position. He drives into the bushes to try to spot people. He spots the 705, and he's able to ammo rack the guy for all his HP. He puts, I imagine, one shot into the guy's ammo rack, and then he puts a second shot into the guy's ammo rack, and that's a free 2,500 damage immediately. So what he does is he reloads immediately after, and he's now got an IS-7 in the mid to deal with, a PTA who's just been spotted in the city, and he's going to choose to deal with the PTA. Now I want to highlight how he uses these bushes because that's a reasonable question. This is always what I've had trouble with. When he's clipping out the PTA, what he does is, first off, you have to make sure that no one's here spotting you, because there might be some idiotic light tank doing that. The second thing he does is he makes sure these bushes are solid so no one in this area can spot him, and then obviously there's hard cover between himself and where the IS-7 is. And the third thing he does is these bushes here are obviously solid, so he's going to be able to clip out whoever's in front of him without getting lit, and you can see his sixth sense doesn't go off. He looks for two remaining shots in the IS-7, puts one into his lower plate, bounces the second one off the guy's tracks, and what he's going to do now, well, he's down to 4 APCR shells and 16 heat shells left. So I think this is really good. When Kiko Nilo is reloading, he returns to his scouting position. He's still useful despite the fact that he's reloading. This is something a lot of people don't do in an autoloader, but I imagine because of the way that this position works and because he's got no one in this area who's likely to spot him, that's why he's able to scout. It's there's no one who's spotting him, so he can just sit in those bushes and look at people while he's reloading, and that's exactly what he does. Now, Currently, the tank in front of him is the IS-7. The low hasn't been spotted for a while, so he tries to put shots into the IS-7. 2 of them miss, which is like fine. The problem is he's down to like 2 APCR shells right now, so what he's not going to do is he's not going to force the reload. He's going to look to put the 2 remaining shots into the IS-7, gets both of them into the guy's lower plate, and now he's going to be reloading, and he only has heat left. The thing is, he's done 8,500 damage, he's out of APCR, and the score is still... It's like a tie, man. This is still a close game. So, at this point in time, normally when you're 5 minutes into a game, it's foreseeable for him to move up, but he's not going to do that. And he doesn't need to because the enemy has been so passive in this game. The reason this position is working is because, well, A, the IS-7 isn't pushing into him. He's not getting spotted. And B, the enemies are all way at the back. So he's just able to sort of continue to sit here and shoot at enemies with no problem whatsoever. He doesn't have to get close to them or anything like that. Right here you can see he's looking for shots on the IS-7. He's doing a good job not to take them. There's the low who fell back. That was the right play for the low. He's looking for shots in the low, and what he's going to decide to do, Kiko's going to decide to push up. Now, this is a play that I think is too aggressive considering the context of the game. He moves up and he gets lit. The problem with this position right here is B2, right? All these camping TDs, and if you look at the enemy team lineup, it's like they've got a ton of campers have the capacity to shoot him right here. And he's lucky that he doesn't get hit by like a T95 who's moved slightly or anything like that. I think this is too aggressive, and I think he's absolutely right to take 2 shots at this STRV and then get out of there like really, really quickly. It was too aggressive. Not committing was absolutely the right play, though, in my opinion. It's like that's reasonable. He was able to run back, and that's kind of what allows him to continue to make this game. Well, he gets even more damage after this. So Kiko Nilo is reloading right now. He's down to 12 shells. There's this IS-7 right here. Now I want to show you something that he does. I think the IS-7's ammo rack is at the back of the turret. He shoots it once, and then he shoots it again. And that's what allows him to ammo rack the IS-7 for 1,000 HP. Immediately after he ammo racks the IS-7, he displays really good situational awareness. He looks at the M48 pattern, puts 2 shots into that guy, and he's up to 10,500 damage, and he's only down to, well, 8 shells. He's carrying an HE clip. Generally, I wouldn't recommend carrying HE clips like in autoloaders, especially like a TVP, because what you're going to find is when you're in a carry situation, especially in a tank like the TVP or the Batchet, which runs out of ammo, it's like that HE clip's going to screw you over. Regardless, again, from this exact same position, he's able to put shots into the PTA, and at this point, because the PTA is only 440 meters away, Kiko Nilo can just shoot at him through this clear bush, and he's going to be able to make that work just fine. That's why he doesn't get spotted there. It's like the PTA's view range must have been 435 or something akin to that, and so he was able to shoot at the PTA, and even if he had been spotted, it's like the PTA wouldn't have returned fire. The PTA was about to die. Kiko Nilo was full HP, so he could take the risk that he would get spotted, and then he didn't, so it all worked out. Now, there's this pattern right here. This is the point in time in a replay where it's very foreseeable that a player you could throw the game. The reason for that is they've got a full HP T90, well, their pattern just died, so that changes things, and their low just died, so that changes things significantly. So they're up 2 tanks. The problem with this map is the way that there's not really any secure way to push into B2 without crossing the open. Now, this is going to work out because Kiko has so much HP, but you're going to see as he pushes across an open field, he's going to get farmed. So he puts 1 shot into an STRV that gets lit. Artie gets lit to his right. He chooses not to shoot at the T95, puts 1 into the Artie. The Artie dies, and now it's like, well, now he can push in, and this is because Zakalidas, who's, by the way, like 25th place on NA, he's got one of the highest win rates on the server, has pushed up, and he's going to be spotting the STRV. So Kiko's going to push in. This is obviously where the HE clip is screwing him over because he's had a great game, and it's like he's actually started to run out of ammo. What's going to happen, though, is he's going to get lit, and there's just some asshole sitting at A4 in his TD who's actually going to put shots into him. Now, if that had been a higher tier TD and the enemy team had been slightly marginally better, you could foresee how the enemy could very easily win that game from that position. But of course, the IS-7's full HP, Kiko's full HP. The risk of them losing is relatively low. Now, right here, Kiko almost throws away his epic game. He's done 12,200 damage, and he tunnel visions right here. This is a really awful play. What he should do in a situation like this, and like, who am I to criticize? I've never played a 13k game, but what he should do, in my opinion, is he should just go straight for the Somua after realizing the Somua exists. Instead, he decides to use his HE clip on the T95, and, you know, that's going to work out really badly for him. The Somua tracks him. The Somua gets a second shot into him. That brings him down to really low HP. He's at 451 right now. Kiko tracks the T95. That was really intelligent, but I think like the best thing that he should do right now is just drive past this house and clip out the Somua. He decides not to do that. The T95 is like atrociously bad and decides not to back up to this house right here. Kiko kind of blows the rest of his load, and now he's behind this T95. He puts his last shot into the T95, and so he's got one shell left. And this is where he's going to pick up the fade-ins, basically. The T95 just continues to try to out-rotate a TVP. Like, if you're in a T95 in this situation, just back up to the bloody house. Then people can't circle you nearly as much. What Keiko's going to do is he's going to hold his shot right here. He wants to make sure he gets the fade-ins medal. So I think it's called the fade-ins. I probably got that wrong, but you guys know what I mean. The AMX 5100 puts a shot into the T95, and then he gets the last kill with his last shell. And that gives him a 6-kill game. So, yeah, that was the game that Kiko Nilo played on Fisherman's Bay. I wouldn't really call it, like, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't some epic game. The damage numbers are certainly epic, but it's not like, it wasn't like a heart-clenching, I don't know how you say it, a butt-clenching carry or anything akin to that. It's like, he played the mid, and he was able to abuse it because the enemy teams just kind of drove in front of him. Regardless, it was an exemplary performance in the mid, and he actually, like, in my opinion, he did an amazing job showing exactly how to play the mid. So that's why I featured this replay, because it's like, for people who want to know how to play the mid, this was a perfect performance in my opinion. So let's go take a look at the end plates, and we'll go from there. All right, so currently this is the highest damage game on WOD replays. He wanted Quickie Baby to feature it. I hope I'm okay. Yeah. Basically what he did is he did 1,000 or 13,277 damage. I'm good at math. He ended up getting a mastery badge, a bunch of medals that, well, I think this is Bruiser. Yeah, and I don't know what these two are. Basically, he got a Fade-ins, a Confederate, a High Caliber, a Tank Sniper, and a Top Gun. Those are the medals that are important. He ended up doing 13,277 XP. That got him 1627 base, which gave him a, well, 2,441 EXP game with the premium account. Now, this is a kind of low EXP game. A lot of the reason is because he did so much damage to, like, tier 8 tanks. He's a tier 10 tank, of course, so he didn't get as much XP as you would in, like, an all tier 10 game, but, you know, matchmaking did not throw him a bone there, but basically everywhere else matchmaking did. So he ended up firing 48 shots, hit 42 of them, penned 36. That's very emblematic of the TBP. The fact that he bounced so many shots is like, that's normal, so that's fine. I thought he played really well. I thought he gave the middle like a really good run for its money, and I thought he demonstrated that like perfectly. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and feel free to give me your feedback on this video down in the comments. So yeah, I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye.